boys and girls, today we are going to finish Chapter 10 of Double Fudge. Remember, you were trying to think, why is Uncle Feather not speaking during the day? Remember, he hasn't spoken in the day since Richie Potter came over. So now we're going to find out why. I didn't believe him. So Pete and Fudge were having a conversation, and Pete doesn't believe him. Not 1 minute. I knew him too well. He was hiding something. So that night, I waited outside the bedroom door. Since he's afraid of monsters, he never closes it all the way. He's got nightlights plugged into every outlet in his room. And before he gets into bed, he sprays the whole place with monster spray, which is nothing but scented water in a bottle with a fancy label. But he believes in it, so I've promised Mom and Dad I'll never tell. This time, when Fudge sang, "Good night, sleep tight," I crept into his room. I could see him on his bed, thumbing through one of his catalogs. "Good night, sleep tight," he sang again. "Don't let the monsters bite." "Good night, sleep tight," came the reply. Only it wasn't coming from Uncle Feather. It was coming from my brother. "Ah, gotcha!" I called, jumping onto his bed. Fudge screamed. I guess I really scared him. Then he started bawling. What does it mean to bawl? It means to cry and cry. Dad came running into Fudge's room, followed by Mom. She picked Fudge up. He clung to her. "What's wrong, Fudgy? Tell Mommy. Where does it hurt?" "You want to know what's wrong?" I said. "I'll tell you." "No, Pete!" Fudge screamed through his tears. "No!" Mom and Dad looked puzzled. "What's all this about?" Dad asked. "I'll tell you what it's about," I said, whipping the cover off of Uncle Feather's cage. "Uncle Feather's lost his voice, and Fudge has been talking for him. I caught him in the act." "What?" Mom said. "Your younger son is a good mimic," I said. "He almost got away with it." "How long has this been going on?" Dad asked. I half expected Uncle Feather to answer. "It's been going on for weeks now. It's about time you noticed." "Peter," Dad began. "Don't ask me," I said. "Ask Bird Boy." "Fudge?" Dad said. Fudge buried his face in Mom's neck, slobbering all over her. "How long has it been since Uncle Feather talked?" Dad asked. Since, Fudge sobbed, "since Richie Potter's first play date." His face was a mess of snot and saliva. "But that was weeks ago," Mom said. I gave him my best marble, the green one, and..." "You gave Richie Potter your best marble," Mom said. "That was very generous of you." "No," Fudge cried. "I gave it to Uncle Feather. I put it in his cage and he swallowed it, and now he can't talk." That unleashed another round of sobbing. "You fed Uncle Feather a marble?" I asked. "I didn't feed him, Pete. I gave it to him to play with. I didn't know he was going to swallow it and stop talking." "Wait a minute," I said. "How could Uncle Feather swallow a marble? I mean, look at the size of him." We all looked over at Uncle Feather, who stared back at us. "I gave it to him before I went to school, and when Richie Potter came over, the marble was gone, and Uncle Feather wouldn't talk." "Was that the day Richie Potter wanted broccoli for a snack?" Mom asked. "Does broccoli have something to do with Fudge's marble?" Dad asked. "I don't think so," Mom said. "Does it, Fudge?" "No!" Fudge started crying again. All this time, Uncle Feather watched from his cage. If you ask me, he was enjoying the attention. The next day, Mom called the vet while Fudge danced around her. "Don't forget to tell her about my marble," he kept reminding Mom. Finally, Mom said, "My mom wants to know if our bird could have swallowed his marble by accident." The vet must have said no, because Mom shook her head and said, "That's what we thought." Then the vet must have asked Mom questions, because Mom said, "His appetite is fine and he's drinking the same amount of water as usual." After that, it was, "He loves his bath." Then, "Oh yes, he's his usual active self. He's just not talking. He won't say a word." Then there were a couple of uh-huhs and 3 or 4 "I sees" from Mom. She reached for a notepad and wrote something down. "Yes, well, thank you so much." Then she hung up the phone. Before Mom had the chance to tell us anything, Fudge said, "How does the vet know Uncle Feather didn't swallow my marble? Because if he didn't swallow it, where is it?" "Probably with your missing shoe," I told him. My shoe was on the subway, Pete, as if I didn't know. Everybody had an idea. Sheila stood in front of Uncle Feather's cage and said, "You need a bird therapist. Maybe something happened to him, some kind of trauma. I read a book about a girl who stopped talking because something terrible happened to her." "Like what?" I said. "I can't discuss it in mixed company," Sheila said. "Is that like mixed group?" Fudge said. "No," Sheila told him. "Anyway, nothing terrible happened to him," I said. "How can you be so sure, Peter?" "Because I live here, remember? Maybe it happened while you weren't home," Sheila said. "You have to think like a detective." "Milo, Asher, come! Asher! Milo!" "Sorry, the puppies are running away." "Trust me, Sheila, I know what I'm talking about. A truly trustworthy person never has to say, 'Trust me,'" Sheila said. "Isn't that right, Uncle Feather?" Uncle Feather sneezed. Richie Potter came over for a play date and offered Uncle Feather money to talk. $5 if you say my name." He held up the $5 bill for Uncle Feather to see. "You're bribing Fudge's bird?" I asked. "What do you think Uncle Feather would do with $5? "I don't know," Richie said. "Well, think about it. I guess he doesn't get to go shopping." Richie folded the bill until it was so small it practically disappeared. Then he stuck it back in his pocket. "If you want to bribe him, try his favorite fruit," I said. "He loves pears." Richie and Fudge dashed off to the kitchen. Melissa said, "My mom says her acupuncturist can fix anything." "Her what?" Fudge asked. "Acupuncturist," Melissa said. "It's some kind of doctor. He sticks needles in you and you get better." "Nobody is sticking needles in Uncle Feather," Fudge said. Buzzy said, "Tough love, that's the answer. Don't let him push you around, Fudge. Let him know who's boss." Grandma laughed and said, "Really, Buzzy? Uncle Feather's not a teenager. He's a bird." Jimmy said, "My parents got divorced because my father never talked to my mother." That's the first detail Jimmy's dropped about his parents' divorce. "Uncle Feather's not married," I reminded him. "Maybe that's his problem," Jimmy said. "Maybe he wants a mate." I looked at Jimmy waiting for more, but he just shrugged and said, "It's a possibility." That night I studied the Mina Bird Handbook. I found out that if you have two Minas, they don't relate to their humans in the same way. They relate to each other instead. So forget about another bird. "Asher, Milo, come here." "No, Asher! Milo, come! Come here! Come on!" "Oh, hi. Ruby, come! Ruby!" "Asher!" It's just so beautiful. The puppies want to play too. Fudge told everyone who would listen about Uncle Feather. In the elevator, he told Mrs. Chen, who's visiting her family from China. She speaks only 3 words in English. "Okay," and "no problem." But she listened to Fudge as if she understood exactly what he was saying. Then she nodded and said, "No problem." In the lobby, he told Olivia Osterman, "I once had a Mina bird," she said. "My bird could say, 'I love you, Livy. I love you so much.'" "Where's your bird now?" Fudge asked, speaking up so Mrs. Osterman could hear him. "Oh, he's been dead for years." Birds don't live as long as people, and most people don't live as long as me. I'm going to celebrate my 90th birthday soon. What do you think of that? "I think that makes you a lot older than me." "Good morning," Mrs. Otterman told Fudge. "I'm a very good thinker," Fudge said, "and sometimes I am too. Sit, 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 sit. Come on, Milo. Sit. Good boy. Sit down. Oh, say hi to my class. Say hi. Hi. And sometimes I'm a good thinker too," she said, snapping her fingers, "because I just got an idea about your bird's problem. Maybe he's lost his hearing like me." Alright, boys and girls, we're going to stop here because it's just so beautiful out, and we're going to finish chapter 10, and we're going to see what we think still happened to Uncle Feathers, okay?